Good afternoon, Fantasy Bay. Mike Williams here with another Week 8 game preview. And today we're going to be going over the Texans versus the Raiders. Let's get it started. So the over-under is 51.5 points, and the spread is -6.5 for the Texans. So we're going to start with the Texans. Deshaun Watson has been on absolute fuego, fire, scoring averaging 24.7 fantasy points a game. That's second in the league. I have him as a top 2 quarterback in the league, or quarterback this week. I believe he goes off against the Oakland Raiders' terrible secondary. Oakland is allowing 24 fantasy points against the quarterback. That's third in the league. Absolutely terrible. I think that Deshaun Watson pretty much feasts. DeAndre Hopkins, ipso facto, I also believe has a great game. The Raiders are ranked second as the most giving up to the wide receiver. So they're going to allow 30 fantasy points a game to the wide receiver. That's absolutely awful. Fire up DeAndre Hopkins. Unfortunately, Will Fuller's out. So I think Kenny Still is going to be a must play this week. I think that his upside is huge. The Raiders suck downfield. So I definitely think he's a great play. A wide receiver too, in my opinion. Carlos Hyde's been holding his own other than last week. He's been playing pretty well. I think that he's a solid play. The Raiders are middle of the pack against the rush, so I think that he'd be a fine play. I'm not touching Duke Johnson, though. He's up and down, and I'm actually really disappointed with that because I thought that when Duke Johnson got traded, he was going to have more of a prominent role. He was going to be more involved, but I feel like he's just as involved as he would have been if he was still on the Browns, so that's really unfortunate for him. Darren Waller is a must-play. My man scored 31 fantasy points last week. He's third for points against the tight end for every week, averaging 17.5 fantasy points a week. Man, that's amazing. And I'm not starting their defense either. All right, so let's go to the Raiders. I'm not starting Derek Carr. I think that Tyrell Williams actually might be back this week, so you might want to check out on that one. I think that if he's back, he's definitely a decent play. He's been getting like a touchdown a game, so I think that he'd be pretty solid. Josh Jacobs. So he's been pretty injured recently, but I still think he'll play. So he had a shoulder issue during the game last week. He came back in. I believe they're just going to give him a shot before he starts the game, numb that shoulder up, and then he's just going to play because he's a beast. And that's the last thing I'm going to play with on the Raiders. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Mike Williams, Fantasy Bay. Actually, did I say Darren Waller when I was talking about the Texans? Oh God. So Darren Waller obviously plays for the Raiders. The tight ends for the Texans are really up and down. Akins, I would probably have to say he's who I'd pick if I had to pick between the two, but I'm not itching to start either of them. And so that will actually do it, Fantasy Base. Sorry about that mishap. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my social media below, and good luck on Sunday.